What's good, everyone? It's Steve from Sneaker Tech Talk, back with another video today. I just wanted to mention I am getting over being sick, so that's why my voice is a little bit different right now. But for today's video, we're going to take a quick look at the Nike Zoom GT Cut 2.0. So as far as the materials go on the Nike Zoom GT Cut, you do have this screen mesh upper with some knit portions here for the high wear areas, as you can see here. But most of it is that screen mesh, as you can see right here. It's very thin and minimal. I'd say even more minimal than the GT Cut 1. So you do have that material kind of wrapping all the way around the shoe. And it's very minimal, kind of like a Kobe shoe. So definitely interested to see how these perform on court compared to the 1.0. And then on the back of the shoe, you do have a little bit of synthetic leather with some perforations and some red peeking through. And then you do have this ribbed portion on the back as well. It kind of feels like some synthetic leather as well. So as far as the materials go, I'm very interested to see how this translates to on court. So as far as the details go on the Nike Zoom GT Cut 2s, you do have this really big swoosh here on the side of the shoe, and then this really small backward swoosh here at the back. And then it does say Nike with the greater than logo on the heel. On the medial side, you do have another swoosh. And then right here, it does say creating the next era of basketball right here. And then on the medial side right here by the arch, it does say GT Cut version 2.0. And then right here, there is a small little script that says smear traction 1.0. I'm not exactly sure what smear traction means, but as you can see here, it is a very aggressive traction pattern. We'll get to that in a minute. And then on the top of the tongue, you do have that cut logo for the GT Cut series. And other than that, I guess on the bottom here, you also have a very large Air Zoom script. So those are all the details on the Nike Zoom GT Cut 2.0. Let me know what you guys think of this model down in the comments. But as far as the traction goes on the bottom of the shoe, you do have this black translucent traction at the toe box, and it's very soft to the touch, and it's like little triangular portions, as you can see here. And then you have this super aggressive herringbone traction in the middle that's red. It's super deep, the grooves, and probably one of the most aggressive herringbone traction patterns I think I've ever seen. And then right in the middle of the shoe, there's really nothing for traction. It's just little indentations, as you can see here. And then at the heel, you have some more of those kind of triangular shapes here. So pretty aggressive traction pattern. I'm definitely looking forward to getting these on court and seeing how they perform. But if they perform anything like the 1.0s, I think we'll be all pretty satisfied. But one thing I will mention is that this is pretty much a solid outsole. The black portion at the heel, moving your way up to the red, is all solid rubber. The stuff at the toe is like kind of like a semi-translucent, and it's super soft. As you can see here, these move very easily, so it's going to be interesting to see how this performs on court. So one thing I will mention about the tongue on the 2.0 is it doesn't have any bungees on the side of the tongue, and the laces actually don't run through the side and the front of the tongue either. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see if this tongue kind of stays in place while you're playing, because I know a lot of basketball shoes that I've played in the past, when they don't have the laces running through the tongue or the bungees, the tongues can kind of twist and turn, and it can be very annoying on court. So I think that's kind of a little flaw that Nike may have done with the shoe, not having that in place, but it'll be interesting to see if that tongue does move at all while you're playing. So as far as the cushioning goes on the Nike Zoom GT Cut 2.0, as you can see here, it does differ a little bit from the 1.0, as it does have this white liner over the footbed of that Zoom Strobel. So that does differ. It does not have that on the 1.0, but you're still getting full-length Zoom Strobel from heel to toe. So it's definitely comfortable underfoot. So that really has not changed from the 1.0. And then the drop-in midsole for the GT Cut 2.0 is still React, very comfortable underfoot. The only thing that they did change on this is the sock liner they added. So your feet are not going to get stuck on that forefoot portion when you're trying to slide your foot in. It's a lot easier to get into the shoe compared to the 1.0. I know a lot of people were complaining about that. I didn't mind it because it added that little bit of extra grip on the drop-in midsole, but I know a lot of people were complaining about that. And then in the heel, you actually get this really small hex unit It's almost embarrassingly tiny, but I will say you can feel this underfoot. So they did add the extra zoom unit closer to your foot. And then as you can see here, this drop-in midsole is cored out ever so slightly so that zoom strobel stitched to the inside of the shoe is actually a lot closer to your foot. So you're gonna get some great impact protection with this shoe, and you're actually really close to the ground. In the heel, it's very thin. They react like it's almost paper thin. And then as you can see here, it does kind of slant down. So your foot is almost kind of sitting like this within the shoe. And in the forefoot, that react is a bit thicker. So you're gonna be sitting pretty close to the ground in the Zoom GT Cut 2.0. It's gonna be more or less the exact same setup. The only difference being is that the GT Cut 1.0 had that extra zoom unit in the heel underneath the zoom strobel, but with the GT Cut 2.0, they did bring it closer to your foot with that hex unit. So again, more or less the same setup, very comfortable underfoot. And I think a lot of you guys are really gonna enjoy the setup on the Zoom GT Cut 2.0. And then I did just want to give a quick comparison, like a 1 or 2 minute comparison of the Cut 1.0 to the 2.0. As far as the overall aesthetics, I do like the look of the 1.0 a bit better compared to the 2. But as you can see here, I do have the blue void colorway, and it does have that oversized swoosh on the side. And one thing I will mention is that this shoe is a lot more heavy in the back of the shoe with all that plastic. So that's one thing I did notice, is the GT Cut 2.0 is a lot lighter in my opinion. We'll get to that just in a second with the overall weight of the shoes. But again, you've got the 1.0. With the materials, you have a mesh, a really open mesh. You can see right through it almost. It has some backing that's orange. And then you have that neoprene toe that runs all the way up to the tongue. So again, these materials, I really enjoy the materials on the 1.0. And then the traction pattern on this, I found it to be stellar. Indoors or outdoors, this really had me covered. And it's holding up great here, as you can see here as well. It's not really fraying or like wearing down. Sorry, it is fraying a little bit, but it's not really wearing down in any which way. This rubber compound is pretty firm, so I really have no gripes with the 1.0s other than that they were a little bit heavy for being a low top. These are about 16.35 ounces. And then again, you've got the 2.0 with that screen mesh. So with the 1.0, you do have that kind of open mesh with the neoprene. And for me, I really enjoy this setup. And then again, here you have that screen mesh, which is super minimal and I'd say even more breathable than the 1.0s. So you also do have this speed lacing system with these 3 red eyelets at the bottom. So you can crank the laces at the top and they really tighten quick around your foot, and it does a really good job of snugging the shoe up around your foot. So again, the small improvements on the 2.0 in my opinion, with the hex unit being closer to your heel and the overall upper being more lightweight. And then in the heel of the shoe as well, the thick plastic and kind of heavy nature of the back of the shoe on the 1.0, they've kind of fixed that with some lighter plastic and the heel counter just not being as heavy. So again, in my opinion, just slight improvements on the 2s. So it'll be interesting to see if these translate to performance on court. Again, the 1.0s are just impossible to find for a good price. I did grab these before they did go up to, $300, $400, $500. Before the craze really happened, I got these on sportcheck.ca here in Canada for the retail. I believe it was $230 Canadian. So I really enjoy this shoe, but it'll be interesting to see if the 2.0s kind of hold to how these performed on court. So again, we should have a performance review out in the next week or so. Keep it locked to the channel for that. And then one more thing I just wanted to touch on, like I mentioned, is that Zoom Strobel does not have that liner. You can see the Zoom airbag right there. For the full length Zoom Strobel, it's stitched directly to the upper. And then with the 2.0, it does have that white liner kind of covering that Zoom Strobel. And then the other small difference with these 2 shoes is the React drop-in midsole. Is this one has the liner on the 2.0, and then this right here was causing a lot of people problems when they were sliding their foot into the shoe. It was kind of grabbing their socks and bunching it up. So I know it was annoying for a lot of people. And then on the bottoms as well, you have that extra hex unit. And then on this one, there's nothing in the bottom. Just kind of have some details as far as the overall tech within the shoe. But the extra zoom unit in this one is embedded right here, and it's kind of a rectangle. So it is actually a bigger unit in the heel here, but the Cut 2.0 is actually closer to your foot. So that is one thing to mention. And then one last thing I wanted to do was check the weight of these two shoes. So with the GT Cut 1.0s in a size 10.5, these do come in at 16.35 ounces. And then the 2.0s in a size 10.5 come in at 14.9, so about 1.5 ounces lighter. And I will mention as well, this is a size 10.5. It does fit true to size. I did find the forefoot to fit just a little bit more roomy than the 1.0s. And then in the 1.0, I did get a size 10.5 as well, but it was a little bit more snug. For me, the toe box was a little more slanted and a little more tapered. So again, they are both size 10.5. And whatever size you were in the 1.0, if you did get a chance to wear these, I would say get the exact same size. But for me, it was true to size. If you're a wide footer, I would say go up half a size in these because they do run a little bit narrow, as you can see here in the forefoot. It's a bit of a snug shoe. And then that drop-in midsole, that React, does ride up the side as well. So if you're a wide footer, I would say go up that half a size and you'll be covered in the Zoom GT Cut 2.0. As far as the support features in the Zoom GT Cut 2s, you do have an internal heel counter at the back of the shoe embedded in the back of the heel. And then you do have this small plastic clip that runs around the shoe on the external. So it does add some extra rigidity at the back of the shoe. And then as far as torsional rigidity, this shoe is very flexible. Once your foot is in this shoe, it will be a bit more firm as far as the torsional rigidity, but as you can see, it does have a ton of flexibility. So not a ton of torsional rigidity here at that midfoot. So that is one thing to note. And then right here, as far as on the 1.0s, you did have that little plastic clip right here that did add for some extra containment on lateral cuts. But with the 2.0s, you do not have that. All you have is this extra knit material here being a little bit more firm. And then if you can kind of bend it down, you can see this is actually the drop-in midsole here, the React, and it kind of wraps up the side of your foot and cups the side of your foot and kind of acts as a sidewall. So for me, I think it's not going to perform quite as good as the 1.0 with that plastic clip, but time will tell to see how these perform. And then at the bottom of the shoe, the forefoot is a pretty wide and stable base, as you can see here. It does kind of flare out right here as well, kind of like an outrigger. So as far as the support features on the Zoom GT Cut 2s, I would say the ones might have you covered a little bit better. But again, time will tell once we get these on court. So that's going to do it for today's video on the Nike Zoom GT Cut 2.0s. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments of the 2.0s. I'm definitely stoked to get these on court. One thing I'm just really hoping is that Nike makes these more available, because with the 1.0s, once people kind of caught wind on how great they were on court and kind of very reminiscent of the Kobe models of the past, these sold out instantly after people heard about that. Luckily enough, I did get these before the craze really hit. So I did get these for that $225 Canadian price tag, the retail price tag. But again, if you want the 1.0s now, you're paying almost double retail price. For me, that's just crazy. But again, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like the 1.0s better or the 2.0s? Aesthetically, I do like the 1.0s better. But as far as the performance features and the changes within the shoe, I think the 2.0 is going to perform just as good, if not even better, with the slight changes that they made. Again, that traction on the bottom is absolutely insane. That little hex unit that they added closer to your foot, embedded within that drop-in midsole, I can definitely feel it under my heel. So again, it's going to be interesting to see if all these new changes translate to performance features that are beneficial for the player on court. But again, I'm definitely stoked to get these on court right away. Let me know down in the comments what you think of them. As always, if you guys could like, comment, and subscribe, that helps the channel a ton. Keep it locked to the channel for the full performance review of the Nike Zoom GT Cut 2.0s. And check out my Instagram at 23MJ88, as it is an extension of my YouTube channel with all my pickups and basketball footage. But until next time, peace.